Peace and assalamu alaikum, everybody. Before I say another word, let me say to all of you whose heads are about to explode before you get any context or anything. The title of this video is not a diss towards the Prophet, okay? So relax. I've been Muslim nearly 50 years. There's no reason, no way I would do something disrespecting the Prophet. So just relax, be patient and listen, and let's not get panicky, as my friend would say. So, you've probably somewhere here or there, since it's all over the internet, have seen memes or captions or videos being made about Dwayne Wade, and well, coming from Dwayne Wade, and all you see is Dwayne Wade said he doesn't lead his marriage. And people are losing their ever loving minds over this, right? Which is crazy. So, first of all, let me read what his actual quote is said to have been. Apparently, he did an interview with Willie D Live. And although I've tried to find that video or what have you so I can actually hear him speak, get it firsthand, so to say, I couldn't find it. So the best thing I was able to come up with was from MSN, and they are quoting him, so let's hope it's accurate. So apparently what he said is, it's not that the man leads and the woman follows. That's not what we live in this house. For me, I have a wife that works not just as harder than I. She had her own career, her own life, her own career before I came along. From my perspective, I was like, how can I be a part of her growth, the evolution of who she is, not try to change her or stunt her growth? Really? Y'all got a problem with that? Yeah, it says a lot about who you are. So that's apparently what he said. Of course, the internet being the internet and people being people, not actually looking much further than the memes and the captions, because it feels good to get hyped up, right? And point the finger at this couple to take the pressure or the make a distraction from your own relationship. But to see the types of comments that is coming due to these, again, memes, and because it's not the actual art, the actual quote, what he actually said, just a teensy part of it, people are, misconstruing what he said. But looking at the comments that are coming from people, but in my experience, primarily black people and men and women, is crazy. And let me tell you, there are a whole heck of a lot of Muslims in there saying the same thing. So what they're saying is like, he's weak, he's a punk. This is why when a man don't lead in his household, this is stuff that happens. Making reference to he cheated and now she's, like he has no strength within himself, that she gets to call all the shots now just because he got caught cheating, which in itself, that's a crazy statement itself to me. But anyway, what really bothers me though is that so many Muslim men, mostly black Muslim men that I've seen, which doesn't mean nothing just because that's the demographic I've been seeing. But there are a great deal of black Muslim men co-signing all those type of sentiments, and a fair amount of black Muslim women who are co-signing it, co-signing them. It's just crazy to me. So I kind of wanted to touch on some things, and I made some notes because I want to try to stay on track. Um, so first off, it's crazy to me because with all the toxic relationships that are out here that we see online and what have you, all the marriages that have ended in divorce, just in the Ummah. We didn't even want to talk about outside the Ummah, but just in the Ummah, because that right now, for this video, is really what I'm concerned with and, making reference to. So, with all the horrid marriages that are out there, y'all act like you men who are leading, y'all act like your homes are better, or that homes where the men so-called lead are any better. Who knows what's going on with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's household, aside from what they put out there. I know a lot of people have things to say because his child is like transgendered or whatever. But we got our own ish, right, with our kids. So I wanted to say, even though in homes where the husband appears to lead, whatever that means, we'll get to that shortly. Even in those homes, let's not get it twisted. It really is the woman who normally is leading the household. Now, the husband might be the one that be like, blah, 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 blah. You gonna do this, you gonna do that, you know what I mean? And everybody kind of follows suit, not necessarily because they respect him, oftentimes because they fear him or maybe don't want to hear his mouth or whatever the case may be. But normally, and not just like households, period. And of course, this whole thing has been made about black men and black relationships online. But the reality is, it most often, hands down, is the woman, the wife, who is leading the household. Why do you say? Because she's the one who plans the meals, does the shopping, cooks the meals, takes the children out shopping for their clothes, dresses the children, deals with the teachers in school, helps with the homework, like everything that, knows when the bills are due, makes sure the bills are paid, regardless to if the husband is putting money into it. I think a lot of the times men misinterpret or misunderstand that giving of money. They think that is like holding down a household. It's only part. You're contributing, but you're not leading the household. You're not taking care of the household. You're just not. There's more that goes into it. So, there's that. Then the other thing is, what exactly do people mean by leading? I wonder. Like, what is everyone's thought of what that is, or understanding of what that is? Because I would think, like, I gave it some thought, some wonder. And it seems to me, if you're going to lead the marriage, lead the household, it seems to me that would mean you pay all the bills by yourself. You pay the rent or mortgage by yourself. You make sure of what needs the household, requires. So you know what's in the pantry. You know what I'm saying? Or are you just going to delegate? Is that what you mean by leading? You delegate. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this. The wife oftentimes pays probably like half the bills, which I've seen with a lot of people. They pay half the bills. So it's not like, if you're doing half the work, what makes you the lead or the because what I see, This is what it seems to me, going by these comments, and I'm sure you've seen them all over your Facebook and stuff too. Going by these comments, it seems to me that what people take as being a leading role in the marriage is really like on some pimp whore dynamic. You know what I mean? Um, Guys seem to think whatever they say goes. If he doesn't like spinach, then damn it, she shouldn't be buying spinach. What would you buying spinach for? I don't eat spinach. Well, I like spinach, and the kids like. I don't care what y'all like. I don't like spinach. Why would you? Why you gonna waste money? You know, then they make it into something else that it really ain't. It's really their egos, but and their narcissism. But then they try to make it into something else. Why you gonna spend extra money on getting food? You're gonna have to make spinach for you, and then make something else for me, and all this kind of thing. It's really it's really bossiness and superiority complexes. You know what I'm saying? Um, they may not, of course, hopefully, they're not calling their wives or significant other, or whatever, a whore or bitch or anything like that. Hopefully, they're not knocking her upside the head, which a lot of you Muslim brothers do, um, and not just black Muslims, just across the board. It's listen, these things happen throughout the world to women, period. It's not just Muslim men, it's not just Christian men. Everywhere women catch a bad rap. But again, I'm just concerned today from hearing all these things that Muslim men, and again Muslim women too, are saying in regards to, at this moment it's pertaining to Dwayne Wade, but it's really what they believe a relationship is supposed to be, which is crazy because if you believe that the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam is the best example, and you look at his relationship with Khadija, right? We know he didn't, there wasn't like, I'm the leader, I say what's going to happen. He wasn't like that. It was not like that at all. And we know this from myriad of, hadith, and just by studying the personality of the Prophet. He was not that way. And so, with Khadija, first of all, if you want to follow the Sunnah, everybody say they want to follow the Sunnah, especially when it comes to some polygyny. They trying to get 2, 3, 4 panties. That's what it is. Everybody want to follow the Sunnah then. Brother want to, get another wife. You talking about the Sunnah. A sister, a second, a potential second wife, third wife, fourth wife. She talking the Sunnah, acting like they can sneak around the first wife's back and all kind of foolishness that we do. They want to talk about the Sunnah. But when they talk about, okay, what is the Sunnah of how to treat your wife? What is the Sunnah of how to be in a relationship towards your husband and, towards each other? Then it's like, oh, well, we ain't the prophet. Really? So, in regards to that, let's talk about how their relationship was. So, first of all, we know that the prophet was married to Khadijah for 25 years until she passed away. Even though polygyny was the norm for the Qurayshi, he never took on another wife. And I can just imagine they probably were like dissing him, calling him like henpecked and all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But they had a wonderful relationship, a partnership. We know that she was rich. She was, a millionaire businesswoman who he worked for, in fact. So she was his boss. And she also took the initiative. She wanted to marry him. She was 15 years older than he was. So he was a young boy, He's like 25, she's 40. So she initiated it. She came to him went to, a go-between. But, I'm really digging him. He has a good personality. He's well-loved. He's very respectful. He makes me a lot of money for my business. you know, he respects women and all this kind of thing. It didn't matter that he was illiterate. It didn't matter that he was not rich or anything like that. Um, when he when he got when the angel Gabriel brought down the revelation to him when he was in the cave, he was scared to death because, you know, he knew about jinns and stuff like that. So he actually thought that he was being possessed by a jinn. And, you know, as we all know the story, he jetted home, you know, scared out of his mind, so much so that he was trembling from fear. And it was Khadijah who comforted him, who calmed him, who said to him, like, no, I don't think you were possessed. Like, why would the Creator do that to you? You're such a good person. I think that you are the Ahmad, the comforter that they've been saying is going to come. And then she led him to her cousin, who was a very knowledgeable Christian man and who knew very well the tradition about the coming of the Comforter after the Messiah, Jesus, as he's called. And, you know, it was her. She supported him. She became Muslim. She supported his movement with money, with advice, with her partnership. Again, partnership. She didn't lead him, he didn't lead her. It was a partnership. That's it. You know, even long after she passed away, probably, I guess, to the end of his life, he loved her. He respected her. He respected the people who was affiliated with her, to the point where Aisha would get jealous, you know, like, she dead, like, why you still sweating her, you know what I mean? They had a great relationship. And then, you know, after she passed away, and he did start to practice polygyny, you know, for myriad reasons, not because he wanted to have sex with a whole bunch of women, y'all. Again, Sunnah. Let's talk about the Sunnah. But even then, with his wives, first of all, they had their own homes. He didn't have them all shacked up together in the same household. Again, hashtag Sunnah. But it is well known and documented he loved and respected women. He went to his wives for advice, which means he respected their not only intelligence but their perspectives on life. He respected their logic. You know, cats always like to say women are illogical beings and just emotional and all that kind of thing. He respected them. He never tried to shut them down when they voiced their opinions or even questioned him. Because people seem to think, I guess, that they were just like, okay, tell me where to go, I'm going to go. No, it was not like that. These were women who were full human beings with a brain, with a heart, with intuition, with skills, with talents. You know, they say at least a third of the hadith were narrated by Aisha. He loved and respected them, and he allowed them to have their opinions, to question him, and you know, and I use the word allow loosely, because I am actually, if you are reading between the lines here, or if you are listening, I am actually offering a compare and contrast to what we apparently believe is supposed to be Islamic marriage and Islamic household. It's not so. The men are the maintainers of women, which means it is the man's responsibility to not only see that we are cared for financially, have a household, like food on the table, clothes, shoes on our feet, but it is also your responsibility to entertain us. It is your responsibility to make sure our mental health is good. Um, it's your responsibility to not have friction and negativity in the household. These are the things, and we in turn reciprocate it. Because if you don't know women by now, and I know most of you don't, the thing with the women is this: a woman will, a scared woman will follow you. A scared child will follow you. A woman who does not like you or respect you will follow you if she feels those are her choices, that she has no options. But she will not love you and she will not respect you. And she will not give you her all. She just won't. And so, for all the ranting and raving that, is going on about how the man is supposed to be the leader, in my humble estimation, a person, one, who goes on and on and on about supposedly being, as opposed to have the rights of leadership, one, does not understand leadership. Two, is more than likely not worthy of being followed. And three, a true leader will not have to open his mouth, because people, not just his wife, not just his children, will follow him organically wherever he goes, because he's shown through actions that he is a leader. He's not a little boy jumping up and down saying, "Follow me, I'm the leader, I'm the leader." You know what I mean? That's not how it goes. That's not how women work. This is not how Allah created women to be. I don't know. It's just crazy to me, and it just hurts my heart, man, because like we just don't learn. And then it hurts me that women, again, I'm speaking of women, Muslims in particular, right at this moment, but Muslim women actually believe this. Like, people have a habit of calling out Islam as the liberation of women. What liberation is there in this dynamic that you guys are co-signing? Like, what is it? A woman is not a dog that needs to be led. Again, we are full human beings. There's this wonderful, wonderful book. I don't know, it might be hard to find it nowadays, but there's this great book written by this Muslim man called Muslim Woman Warriors. And it talks in there about how, and of course it gives references and things, but it talks about how in the Quran, how when it says, this is for the believing men and the believing women, this is for, for different things, this is for the men and the women. This is because initially it wasn't being revealed like that until the women started speaking up and saying, excuse me, you need to, what about us? We don't hear any references to us. And a lot, changed that. There are many things that we do that we recognize as sunnah, what have you, like tayammum, making wudu with soil instead of water when you don't have water, because of course they live in a desert. That's because of a woman. There are many things that happen because of women. And in many instances that we learn, and of course, oftentimes things are just kind of spread through word of mouth, so we don't actually know where it came from. But a lot of things that we just take for granted, like, oh, it's Sunnah, it came about because the women who were down with him, the women started speaking up, and so Allah started, right, putting things specific, or they will come to the prophet, and so then the prophet will go to Allah, and then Allah will say, all right, this is the rule. But it was because of women, and not just his wives. And so again, it shows not only how the prophet respected women, but how Allah, the creator, respects women. We are not these, we're not like some inferior type beings that we're just in the house to clean it, support it, because most of us work, clean it, support it, feed everybody, do whatever it is he wants to do, make sure the husband is satisfied sexually, accept basically whatever he does or says, or, it's just not how it goes. It is a partnership. It's give and take. It's not the woman is supposed to be over the man is supposed to be over the woman. The Quran says that Allah made us for each other to live in tranquility. There will be no tranquility if there's an imbalance of worth and value. And that doesn't mean that, like 2 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, so only 2 plus 2 can be 4. No, 3 plus 1 can be 4 also. They're equal, but they're different, It's it really breaks my heart. It makes me want to cry because this is the norm. Men thinking that things are supposed to be a certain way, like basically. And see what happens is, again, in my observations, I've been Muslim 49 years, lived within the Ummas and all that kind of stuff, different communities. We really just bring this whole street mentality into the deen. We may change our wardrobe. We may change our lingo, but our hearts are the same. Our actions are the same. And not only is it a tremendous misrepresentation of Islam, it's a tremendous, horrid misrepresentation of Allah. And so not only do we deter people from wanting to be Muslim, because let's face it, why want to be Muslim when it's the same caste that's in the streets? Do you know what I'm saying? So why be Muslim, and why want to stay Muslim? How many of our children grow up and they either leave the deen or just about leave the deen? It's because of what they see in the household, primarily. And because marriage is the foundation of what they're going to see and what they're going to believe. We teach them what it is. I was going to say something, I don't recall. Anyway, I don't know, but I will say to you in closing, because golly, time flies when I'm running my mouth, but I will remind you as believers that the last khutbah that the Prophet left to us, he made certain to put in there to the brothers to fear Allah in your treatment of your women. I don't care what they do in Saudi. I don't care what they did 500 years ago. I don't care what your sheikh did or does, or your imam or what have you. Our example is the Prophet, alayhi salam. And that's it. That's it. We have the Quran and we have the Sunnah to know how wives are to be treated and to know how a relationship should be had for both the man and the woman. Um, yeah, um, I don't know. I don't know if people don't really study the Prophet or if we just do as the Quran says some of the Jews did, take parts of the book and put it behind our backs. I don't know. But there's Imam, well, I guess he may be a sheikh by now, Dawood Adib. And he did a lecture back in the 90s. And I used to have the cassette, but alhamdulillah, now it's on YouTube. So you can look it up. His name is Dawood Adib, A-D for Dawood, I-B for Bilal. And it's called Problems Facing Muslim Women. And what he said, and I believe, is that the two problems facing Muslim women are that we do not study this deen for ourselves. We will be judged upon our intent and study of this deen, which will lead to our execution of this deen. I've met women who, I remember once long ago, this sister, I think I asked her like what sect, because I knew her and we would talk and I knew things that were going on in her life and stuff. And so I asked her like what sect of Islam she was studying. And she said, "Girl, I don't know. My husband done changed it. I don't remember. I don't know what it is." That was the weirdest thing to me. But we seem to think that is proper. It's not. It's not. So he said that Dawood Adib said that the two problems are that we women don't study this deen for ourselves and our husbands. Hey. As I've said in other videos, we gotta do better, y'all. We have to do better. We have to do better. And stop spreading these horrid interpretations of Islam. Stop embracing these horrid interpretations of Islam. We women, we cannot fault anyone for being in bad relationships, bad marriages in this deen when Allah has given us all the tools. All the tools. Everything we need to know is there. And on top of that, we don't have to stay in lousy situations. There is such a thing as a kula. And I don't know how it is nowadays. Like now in 2021, it's been a couple of years since I got my last divorce. Maybe 2 or 3 years. But I know most often imams were like, oh, well, the woman has to prove that she wants to get out of a relationship. She has to prove that something is wrong. She has to prove this. She has to prove that. My imam, Sheikh Ali Jabber, he don't rock like that. And husbands get mad at him because if a woman comes to him, if a wife comes to him saying she wants a cooler, he gives her a cooler because it's our rights. We don't want to be in a marriage for whatever reason. We are not to be forced to stay there. We know the hadith of the woman, I don't remember her name, but she was watching her husband walk down the road with some other man and noticed how ugly he was to her. And she went to the Prophet about it and he gave her a divorce. He was like, well, just give back the garden. All right, whatever. You don't have to stay in stuff. Islam being the liberation of women is not because we take anything that anybody gives to us. Muslim women are strong beings. We don't just sit back and take stuff from people. We read and learn for ourselves. I mean, it's just crazy to me because, alhamdulillah, I have been blessed to have good people in my life and good Muslim women, black, African American, whatever you want to call it, Muslim women who have wonderful relationships with their spouses, with their husbands. And I mean, they've been married for decades, like over 40 years, some of them. You know, my surrogate mom, Z, I ain't gonna say her name because she might not like that. Um, she and her husband been married over 40 years. My very, very good friend, H, I ain't gonna say her name either. Um, Again, wonderful relationship. I think I think they've been married over 40 years. I can't remember. Or close to 40 years maybe. Nonetheless, they are partners in their marriage. Their husbands don't try to put their foot on their necks. Sure, they have, disagreements or whatever the case is, but it's never been like some sort of rah rah type thing, you know what I mean? Because their husbands respect them and they in turn respect their husbands. And I mean, they're not the only two. I've been blessed to have very good examples around me. Um, Even, my divorces, they are everybody, people can be good people, but not necessarily good spouses with whoever they are paired with. But certainly my ex-husbands have good qualities and abilities, you know what I mean? So I'm not here to bash them or anything. But alhamdulillah, there's something called the kula. Allah gives us those rights as women so that we can be free. So in case you don't know what liberation is, it means freedom, so that we can have freedom of self. So we don't have to lay down and have somebody step upon us like, yeah, I'm the man up in here. Boy, please. But anyway, this video is gone far too long. Just please reevaluate things and don't just jump on the bandwagon because the folks want to take out bits and pieces of what someone said in order to push forward their own narrative or in order to get clicks or, interaction on their social media. That's why. And if you are treating your woman like some little piece of nothing, and if you are thinking that that is what a man is supposed to be, sisters, you need to do some studying. Study your prophet and see.